Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's Starseed Healing Circle. And Merry Christmas to you. I can't believe this year has just flown by so quick. I don't know where it's gone to. And I also see that our next session is on the 1st of January. So we're doing a New Year's as well. Wow. Okay. So let's dive straight into our work for today. If you are celebrating Christmas, I hope that you've got a beautiful Christmas and a festive season. If you're not celebrating, I hope that you have a good day, beautiful day. So in today's session, what came up is a life alignment session, and we are combining that with Wands of Horus cards. So with life alignment, it's really about dropping into the feeling and the emotions, not necessarily the emotion itself, but the feeling. So the deeper you can feel, the deeper we can heal. A good idea maybe to have a notepad or a notebook, piece of paper, a pen or a pencil with you. And you may want to pause periodically through the session just to make a few notes. So journaling can really help you to just dive in a little bit. You don't have to write pages and pages. It could be like keynotes or something, just like a little bit of a note here and there. And then let's be prepared to pause from time to time whenever you need extra time in today's session. Okay, let's look at our tuning for today. Here we go. We're looking at our light code activation to cleanse and clear the auric field. So let's dip into the space. Close your eyes, perhaps. Tune into what it is that you would like to receive, what you would like to let go of, what you would like to heal, what you would like to manifest. Just make that clear within your mind. And when you are ready, open your eyes and allow your eyes to gently rest on the light code. Perhaps it is drawn to a specific area, or allow your eyes to trace the lines so that this becomes a labyrinth for your eyes. And you can trace it both directions, doesn't matter. Whatever feels right for you today. Keep your focus on your goal, what it is that you would like to release or heal or let go of or manifest. And you can spend as much time here as you need. Okay. So let's go and have a look at what is up for today. Today, on our journey in Egypt, we are visiting the Temple of Khnum, and this is in Esna. This was one of my absolute favorite spots in Egypt. And it's surprising because it's also the smallest temple of the lot. This really is one of the smallest. And it's not the entire temple. It's literally just the first, like the entry hyperstyle building that is there. The rest of the temple is completely destroyed and gone. I think you can actually see a mosque in the background. So the mosque would be in the place where the Holy of Holies would have been for this temple. This temple is, it's just magnificent. Like I said, I really absolutely love this space. I could not get enough of this place. I could really be here for a very, very, very long time. This particular temple is 9 meters below ground level. So they've actually like dug down, and then the temple is built. And it stands about, I think, about 20 or so meters high. The internal ceiling is reached up to about 15 meters. So you go down with steps for this particular temple to get to the bottom. Khnum is one of the creator gods. He has a ram's head, and according to the mythologies, he created man out of clay. So the car or the etheric body. He molded out of clay. So he created man. So this temple would have been dedicated to him and all of his counterparts and energies associated with him. The walls covered top to bottom with some hieroglyphs and some stories. And then let's have a look inside. So this is our floor plan, and it's literally the hyperstyle entry. This would have been the entrance hall. Now, with this particular temple, they had really, really, really strict rules about entering into this space. You had to be pure. You had to bathe yourself. You had to clip your toenails and fingernails before entering into the space. You only were allowed to wear linen in this place. You had to cut your hair. There were rules and regulations for entering into this temple. This was a space of purity, and they held that to the highest regard and respect. And walking into this space as a modern person, most people are not aware of that. They just walk around and go like, oh, beautiful. So what I did for myself energetically before I went in is I went into quiet space. I broke away from the group and I walked around to the outside wall around the back, and I did an energetic preparation, visualizing that I was cutting my hair and shaving my hair and cutting my nails and doing the bathing and everything. Of course, I had a shower in the morning, but I just wanted to get into that space, and I visualized myself donning the white linen before going into the space. Inside this temple is magnificent. I would have loved to have seen the entire temple, but it's gone, of course. When they discovered this temple, I think about 200 years ago, maybe no, it's more, a little bit more. It was literally just the top end of the temple that was visible. The rest was under sand. And the Bedouins used the temple, like many other temples, as shelter, and so they would have made fires inside, and so the soot and sand and dust covered all of the hieroglyphs and the paintings within this temple. In 2020, the Egyptian government started cleaning, or the archaeologists started cleaning the soot and the dust off these walls, and magnificent colors came on display. So yeah, beautiful space. As always, the vultures on the ceiling, you see this in every temple I went into. I took a photo of the vultures. Here we've got a double row of vultures covering the entire central row as you walk. And what makes this temple so special and unique is that you'll notice that pillars going up, they go up into these lotus style patterns. Every single pillar had a different lotus pattern design. This was unheard of in Egypt. Normally with the temples, everything had to conform. So normally in the hyperstyle entrance hall, all of the pillars would have the same design. Different glyphs on the pillars, but they will all have the same design. And then when you move into the next section, they will all have the same design. If there's design changes that changed, it would have happened between sections. So to have a space like this where every single pillar was a different design is unique in Egypt. This is apparently the only temple in Egypt where you see this. Also, what was interesting here is on the roof, if you look in the image on the right, that whole line is the zodiac and astrological signs and symbology from an Egyptian perspective. And as we go on to the other side, there is a more of a Roman depiction of the astrology and zodiacs. Let me just take this away. So, for example, you can see Sagittarius, that's upside down, the archer with the horse body. Then to the right of that, we've got Capricorn. And to the right of that, you can see Aquarius. So quite interesting here to see the astrological symbology as well going on to this one. We just see there's Pisces in the center, Taurus and Aries. You can see off to the left of that. So all of the zodiac is visible here on the ceiling. Beautiful, beautiful. Just another one of these views. Yeah. I'm not going to spend too much time on the temple itself today. I'll bring it back to my own personal experience. As I've mentioned, for me personally, I absolutely loved that temple. I could have stayed there forever. Not the biggest temple, but I spent so much time just sitting pillar by pillar, looking up at the beautiful artwork and really being absorbed and surrounded by the energy. As always, Wands of Horus were with me, Pine Stone was with me, Crystal Skull, Sapphire was with me. So they came along for the ride as well to soak up the energies. Okay, so let's dive into our work for today. We are doing a life alignment session, as I'd mentioned. A few things to just bring your attention to. We are going to be tapping in the energies into specific points. I'll guide you through that process. One of our entry points is just here behind the hairline, and it's literally going to be like a tap tap, just there, like a tap tap. And then when we get to the emotions, we're tapping on the crown in the back. So if you imagine your head lying on a pillow, where the head touches the pillow, that's about the place where you'll be tapping over there. And that'll be our tapping point for the emotions. Other things to consider, we've got lines coming down from the eyes for measurement and also lines from the ears coming down for measurements. So I'll guide you through the process and let's get rolling on this one. I'm focusing on your goal for this session, right? So I'm using the light code as your connection to this session. In relation to your goal or issue that you're working with, the emotion that came up is mixed up and it's in relation to self-hate. Now, the self-hate and mixed up does not necessarily have to be where you are right now in your life. So a good idea is to track back to any time in the past or a time that pops up as I'm saying the word mixed up and self-hate. What comes to mind immediately for you? And adding to that beliefs. So this could be limiting beliefs or beliefs around self-hate or beliefs around mixed up. What does that mean for you and how does that relate to your goal? So maybe make a note of that. Pause the recording here if you need to. The more you're going to pause and spend some time to absorb and dive in, the more you're going to gain out of today's session. The sabotage or the excuse that came up here is, I value myself, I do not value myself. I value myself, I do not value myself. How does the self-value add in to your goal or your issue that you're dealing with? Write that down. The emotion on top of the sabotage is devalue, and it's in relation to inertia. So to do nothing or to remain unchanged. How is your value system, your personal value system, staying the same or not moving? Okay, again, make a note of that. This is our background to our session. So mixed up self-hate. This is associated with limiting beliefs most likely. And then I value myself or I don't value myself, and devalue in relation to inertia. Let's think about how that relates. I'm just going to remind you again with these words and emotions. I've got dowsing lists that I work through. For example, I've got a list of 4,258 words that could form emotions. And I don't look at the list itself. I'm dowsing using my pendulum to check what number comes up, and then I go look up the number. So, for example, mixed up is number 2693 out of 4258. And then I go check that up. So I only check the values after I've done all of the dowsing for today's session, which means I'm working blind. I can't influence the information here, and I'm literally only reading the information now with you and analyzing it as we're going through the session. So I've done no analysis. So it's like I'm with you in this one. Okay, so let's get our priorities set in. Our priorities is our body points. That's going to tell the body that we are working with it, and we're going to be locking in those energies as we go along. So let's quickly get set up on. Here is our first point. The first point is toxicity. So what you'll do here is the point is along the sternum line, and it's if you find the tip of the xiphoid process, then maybe about an inch or so up from there is the point. So you literally just put one finger on that point. I'm going to show you there. You've got one finger on the point. With your finger there, we're just going to tap behind the hairline. Tap, tap. So we're just saying to the body, this point goes into the circuit. So toxicity is about any toxicity within the body, whether it's mental, physical, emotional, spiritual. So any debris, basically. It's actually quite a nice one to work with today. Our next point is the sigmoid colon. So you're going to take your hand like this, like the edge of a knife, and you're going to put that along the hip bone. So it's going to literally sit along the hip bone at an angle where I've got the red line. Once you've got your hand there in place, we're going to tap, tap to say that energy goes in there. Then our next point, okay, so wait, sigmoid colon, let's quickly look at how this relates. Sigmoid colon is about, it's the last bit of the colon. So this is about how we release what no longer serves. So a general saying that we use here is where are you holding on to your shit? Like literally and figuratively. What are you holding on to? What are you not letting go of? Our next point, you're going to take your left hand and put your fingers together like that, all 5 fingers, and then you're going to place that on the side of your arm. And this is the muscular system. So this is going to be a little bit of a tricky one. You're going to have to put your hand there and then go tap, tap. The muscular system is our hard drive. This is where we save all of our information within any experience, trauma, everything will be locked up somewhere within the muscle. So with the muscular system, we're looking at all of the muscles as a system. So we're looking at your entire hard drive. Next point is geopathic stress. A little bit of a tricky one here. So what we're going to do, this is only on the left side. So it's from your ear line, draw a line down, and it's if you're going to find sort of just where your armpit starts in that height, that's the height where we want to be. And from the ear point, it's a little bit out. Oops, I'm going in the wrong direction. So ear point down, out. I was following what was happening on screen. So just a little bit out, closer to the armpit, and it's one finger that you place there, and then we're going to tap that in. Tap, tap. This point is geopathic stress. So geopathic stress is ley lines or Hartmann grids, Curry grids, geopathic frequencies, EMF, radiation, energy, or anything to do with stress that could happen energetically around. So we want to clear all of those as well. Okay, so now we've got all of our points in place. We're going to move on to the next step, which is the Wands of Horus cards. And they are in the following positions. So first of all, we've got awareness. This is the one that's sitting on the right-hand side, sort of chest level up here. This is on the cell nucleus. So we want to bring the awareness into the central aspects or nucleus of every single cell within your body. So we're talking to all of them. We've got Ba on the sternum. The Ba is your personality, and this is sitting on the heart point. Oh, sorry, no, wait. I'm reading wrong here. Shin, which is on free radicals. This is in the center of the chest. I was looking at Ba further up. My listing here is a bit wonky. Just underneath Shin, on the ribs as well, on the right-hand side, we've got the water card that is on the drug and poisons point. On the throat, we have the breath card. Oops, sorry about that. On the throat, we have the breath card, which is on the thyroid. On the sinus points, we have Hybit or shadow. On your vision point, we have the Ba, which is actually here on the tear ducts. And then we've got Hat sitting on the right hand side here, which is alkalinity. So you don't have to understand these cards or what they're doing here, but each of these cards, they are representing a specific energy or frequency, and they are helping us within this balance. And I've got them stacked out here on my chart in front of me. So we'll continue to do the work in this sector as we go along. We're going to come back to that one later. Okay. Right. Now for the emotions. We've got quite a list of emotions over here, so this is going to take a little while. You're going to have to pause here as well as we go along. So our first word is truth, and it's in relation to sexual frustration. Truth in relation to sexual frustration. What can you make of that? Just feel into that. If you do not currently feel that this is an issue for you, trace back to where in the past did you have truth and in relation to sexual frustration, whether it was expressed or unexpressed, and drop into what that felt like back then. Feel it. And once you feel it, you're going to tap on the back of your head. So if on your crown would be a good place. And pause the recording here if you need more time. You only tap it in once you feel that you've got that feeling, really build up the feeling within the body. Our next point is pioneer in relation to school friend. So for most part, we're going to have to go way back now to school friend, unless you are still friends with your school friend. Pioneer in relation to school friend. Now, this is a little bit more of a weird one, because you're going to have to think about your school friend and that was pioneering, and most likely how that made you feel. Was that inspirational? Was that something that made you uncomfortable, comfortable? Whatever, how do you relate to that? How do you feel? So feel into school friend, pioneer. Feel it, and then tap it in. Our next emotion, fear of being dependent on, and this is in relation to imagination. So fear of being dependent on imagination. Okay, you may have to dig around. If you don't connect with this emotion or any of the emotions, imagine that you had it and what would it feel like. If there's a fear of being dependent on your imagination, feel that. Tap it in when you're ready. Make any notes that you need to and pause the recording if you need more time. Our next emotion is dissatisfaction in relation to betrayal. Dissatisfaction in relation to betrayal. Feel that. Where have you not been satisfied with being betrayed? Feel that and tap it in. Next one, apprehensive in relation to personal power. So where have you been apprehensive of your personal power? Feel that. Make it real. Tap it in. Okay, next one is a little bit of a weird one, perhaps. Snake in relation to sexual communication. Snake in relation to sexual communication. Find where that's relevant for you, or where you feel, what comes up for you, even if you don't connect specifically with this emotion. Just imagine. Feel it. Tap it in. And then specific in relation to alternate reality. Specific in relation to alternate reality. Feel that. What does it bring up for you? Specific in relation to alternate reality. Tap that in. And then treatment in relation to tranquility. This is our last one. Treatment in relation to tranquility. This is a nice positive emotion, actually. I hope. Treatment in relation to tranquility. Just feel that. Tap that in. Okay. Now for the interesting part. Now we want to combine all of this. So first of all, we're going to combine all of these points together into one point. I'm just trying to see how we're going to do this. So I'm going to start with my left hand for this particular point. So left hand, find your point, one finger on that point. Don't let go of this point. Hold that point. Now with my right hand, I'm going to do my knife edge on the opposite side. So I'm doing my fingers pointing up. I'm doing knife edge on that point. Once you've got both of these points connected, now I can let go of my left hand. With my left hand, going 5 fingers together to the muscle or muscular system. Once I've got muscular system and the lower point, the ileocecal valve, was it ileocecal? I can't remember. I think it was valve Houston, sigmoid colon, sorry. Now I've got muscle system connected. Now we can let go of the right hand. And then the right hand is going to go to the point here, ear line, a little bit out, one finger point, and you can let go of your muscular system. Now hold that muscular system point, and we're going to go through all of the emotions. So feel into truth and sexual frustration. Just conjure up those emotions very, very quickly. Pioneer in relation to school friend. We're still holding on to this point on top. Fear of being dependent on imagination. Feel that quickly. Dissatisfaction in relation to betrayal. Feel that. So we're stacking all of these emotions on. You may feel that the emotions are growing a little bit stronger and stronger. Apprehensive in relation to personal power. Feel that. Snake in relation to sexual communication. Specific in relation to alternate reality. Treatment in relation to tranquility. Think about where and how you devalued yourself. How you got mixed up in self-hatred, perhaps. How your beliefs drive your self-hatred. Feel all of those things. Make this as big as possible. If you feel like crying, go for it. Like really, it's just for a moment. We just want to make this emotions so big. Once you've got that, we're going to tap just behind the hairline again. Tap, tap. And once you've done that, you can let go of the point. You can let go of all of the emotions. Catch your breath. Okay. So now I want you to get comfortable. We're going to give you some points to work with. Our one point is the third eye, and the other point is the solar plexus. So we can place the hands on the solar plexus and on the third eye. You can hold these 2 points throughout the session. Your arms will probably get a bit tired. So what you can do is when there's a very strong energetic charge coming through or emotional charge, place your hands in that. It doesn't matter which way around you go. You can lie down for this section if you want to, or you can sit, whatever is comfortable. I'm going to suggest you close your eyes and just feel what comes up and engage with the questions I'm going to be asking you. There may be times when you need to pause the recording, so I hope you're ready for that as well. Okay, so let's get comfortable whether this is going to be seated or lying down. One hand on solar plexus, one hand on your third eye. Again, if you're not going through too hectic emotions, you don't have to hold on to those points. I've got my chart in front of me, so I'm going to be working with this chart and holding those points as well. So periodically, I may just go into that. So briefly, quickly, dive into all of the emotions that you felt just before we tapped into the hairline. So all of the emotions. See if you can gain some form of understanding of how life used to be and how life is at the moment. What is your understanding of your situation or of the issue, and how does patterns repeat itself? Just get into that understanding, even if it's just very, very lightly, it's okay. Coming to this understanding, how does that make you feel? And this is your space to be as honest as you can with yourself, like really be brutally honest with yourself. How does this make you feel? Allow yourself to feel those feelings and give yourself permission to let go of those feelings, like to really release those negative feelings. Perhaps see yourself taking those negative feelings, throwing them up into the air, into a strong wind or breeze, and just seeing how those emotions fly away. You can use anything that works, so you can burn it in a fire or anything. Release those negative feelings in whatever way works for you. And as you throw these feelings away, become aware of a sound. What sound do you hear as these emotions or feelings are released? Just become aware of that sound. Now, as we have left a void in the space with those negative feelings, we have to put something back in. If we don't, the universe is just going to put whatever into there, and we want to be in control of what goes in there. So what positive feelings would you like to welcome into this space? Think about the positive feelings that you would like to welcome into this space. And allow yourself to do this. Welcome those emotions in, feel those emotions come into the space. If you struggle with that, you could repeat things like, I choose to welcome in joy. I choose to welcome in abundance. I choose to welcome in ease. Whatever works for you here, just welcome that in, call all of those energies in. Pause the recording here if you need more time. Next, we are asked to call in your guides. It could be one, it could be multiple ones. Just allow yourself to connect with your guides. It could be as easy as saying, I choose to connect with my guides, or I would like to connect with my guides. Allow yourself to feel that connection between you and your guides. Next, we are asked to connect to the angels. So perhaps it's the angels and the archangels, whatever works for you. If there's specific angels or archangels you would like to connect with, you can call them by the name. Otherwise, you can just state that you would want to connect to the angels and the archangels. And allow yourself to feel what that feels like as you call them in. So now that we've released negative emotions, we brought positive emotions in. We've got the guides and the archangels and the angels around us. We want to build or create boundaries. Where in your life do you need boundaries? What would those boundaries look like? I want you to visualize or bring in those boundaries now. And if you need help here, the angels and the guides are here to help you. So ask them to help you insist. What would you like to see? What would you like to feel or release? How are you going to maintain that? Spend as much time here to create those boundaries, see the boundaries, feel the boundaries, make it real. Where do you have to learn to say no? Where do you have to be discerning? Okay. Next, you want to connect to a teacher. This could be a teacher that's alive, it could be a teacher that's passed on, it could be a teacher that you personally know, or a teacher that you just energetically want to work with. It doesn't matter. Connect with the energy of the teacher. And here is the opportunity to ask for help. What can this teacher help you with? How can this teacher teach you? What information can be shared? And again, how can you implement this into your life? Now we're asked to move deeper into the body, go deeper into the sensations. What are you feeling within your body? Become aware of any negative emotions, any negative feelings that you may feel as we move through this. Remember, your guides are here, your angels are here, you're setting up boundaries, your teacher is here. It's quite common to feel fear, especially when there's changes coming, because change is not always comfortable. So just become aware of any of those feelings and sensations. And then allow yourself to release those negative feelings or emotions. Finally, we want to connect to our higher self. This is you on the perfect level, you as a perfect being. Allow yourself to merge with your higher self. Imagine your higher self moving into you, almost like a hand into a glove, tight fitting glove. So it's a perfect fit. As you merge with your higher self, you embody your higher self. You are going to move through life as your higher self. And I want you to just be in this moment. Be as your higher self. And while we are there, I'm going to just anchor in this correction. Place your hand, one of your hands, flat hand, on your sternum, on your thymus, upper heart. Using index and middle finger and thumb, draw a line from your eyes down to the edge of your ribs. Place your fingers there. And then the same distance that you have between your fingers, we're going to place index finger just above that to form a triangle. You can also use the other hand, but it's easier if you just take the other fingers. Press there. Once you've got those 3 points, tap them in. And then you're going to take your fingertips pointing in towards your heart and your solar plexus. Breathe slow and deep. Here, we're just wanting to say to the body that it can release any toxins. You may intuitively feel that your hands want to float a little bit away from the body. That's okay. And we're going to release that. Take your hand back onto the upper heart, onto the thymus. We're just anchoring this energy. Next, 5 fingers together, but from this point that we had earlier, we're going to just open the fingers. Place your fingers like that around your navel, and then your other hand's going to be on your forehead. Breathe slow and deep. We're just balancing the meridians and the 5 elements. See if you can get your fingers around your navel to be nicely around. Next, fingertips in a row on your glabella, on the central part of your forehead, and the other hand floating above your crown. Our body alignment correction or balance point. Gets the body back into alignment. Finally, middle fingers, you're going to press on the mastoid process behind the ears, around bone behind the ears. Just press in with the middle finger, a little bit of pressure. And I'm just going to lock in the final part of the balance. So you can just hold your fingers there. As we anchor in this energy. Okay, you can release your fingers. And back into this space. Okay. Right. Let's go back to your goal or focus or issue that you had that you started with earlier. I just want you to think about that for a moment and just assess how you are feeling about this now compared to how you felt earlier when we started. Is there a difference for you? Are you feeling a bit lighter about it? Is it feeling a bit easier or more doable? Our sabotage that we had was I value myself, I do not value myself. How do you feel about self-value now? Just make yourself a little bit of an assessment there. How do you feel compared to how you felt earlier? We also had the emotion of mixed up in relation to self-hate. How do you feel about that now? So hopefully your sabotage would have shifted from I do not value myself to I value myself. And perhaps your self-hate switched to a space where you go, actually, no, I love myself. I don't hate myself. Okay. Well done. So, last little trip, homework and support for the week. Two things. You can decide to do both. You can decide to do one. You choose which one and what works for you. And hopefully you can find some time to do this. The one is auto-suggestion. So auto-suggestion is anything like an affirmation where you're going to be using positive affirmations to reinforce what it is that you want. Similar to self-hypnosis. So you can do self-hypnosis programs. You can do positive affirmations or any auto-suggestion that you do. It could be pre-recorded and let you listen to, or you could just say to yourself. The other piece is stress management. So how can you de-stress? How can you manage your stress? How can you bring your stress down? What works for you? So that is it. That concludes our Christmas Jingle Bells balance for today. I hope that we shifted some emotions for you here. I hope we shifted some energies and feelings for you here. And of course, if you're listening to this recording any other time of the year other than Christmas, because there's no time and space, we can really use these balancing techniques and modalities. We can literally watch them over and over and over, every time with a different goal and intention. You won't always be in Christmas, but that spirit of Christmas or the energy of sharing and family and home, that is always going to be in this energy here that we're working with. I'm so glad I managed to spend some time with Temple of Khnum again, because that also for me it felt like coming home. And I think that this is what this time is all about. So I am sending you so much love and light, and I will see you in our next session, which is Happy New Year time. And take care and stay safe, and we'll see you then.